I think a really good team win. I really believe these games can be really hard. You know, you guys have been doing this a long time. When you sandwich a game like this, in between a national story game last week, and how many snaps were in that game, and the emotion of that game, and then a crosstown rivalry next week, regardless of whether you talk about it with your players, obviously they know about it, and the magnitude of potential what that game means, and then a noon kickoff. So I got to give a lot of credit to our assistant coaches and to our players for really coming out today. Not playing a perfect game, obviously, but you're playing a conference game, sandwich in there, and you win by 21 points. The storyline would be the defense. After the last 5.5 quarters of what we had played, we talked about it during the week, we had really felt like we played good defense for 7.5 weeks. And then in 5.5 quarters, we played really, really bad. And so it was good to see we got back to playing like we were earlier, and maybe even better at times. I thought we were very aggressive, and the players really got after the ball today, creating turnovers. So, and some big stops. So that was great to see. On offense, the storyline would be the offensive line, I think. Really, a really good second half, you know, of football. I thought football outside of the turnover late was good football in the second half. Whatever, 14-3 or whatever it was in the second half was good. So a lot of credit to the offensive line and Curtis. Curtis ran really well outside of the fumble at the end. And it's a good story for our guys because he had his best week of practice, as we had talked about, since we've been here, and then goes out and performs. I think as you look at the hidden stats, you always look at, to me, to see how the offensive line is playing is the negative plays in the run game. And so Curtis, I think, has 31 carries or something and only loses 1 yard on the day. So a lot of credit to Curtis and a lot of credit up front. And you know, at the end of the day, there was a tie game at half here. And you can just imagine what this press conference would be like if it went the other way. So it was really good to see our players and coaches come out and have a good second half.
Lane, how much of your defensive front really played into your improved effort overall on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I thought our front played really good. I thought our linebackers timed up the blitzes. You see 11 tackles for loss and 7 sacks in the game, and not just the little sack, 56 yards of sacks. You know, that was a big deal to try to harass the quarterback and make him not be able to be comfortable in his system. And so, once again, credit to our staff, our defensive staff, and our players.
Lane, you had said a tie game at half, coming off 2 losses. Sports has a lot of momentum sometimes that affects performance. Was that a concern, thought process in that third quarter?
Well, I think you're always trying to manage the situation in the game, and we know what the standards are here, so we understand. I was coming up the tunnel with an Arizona State player that I've known from being around before, and he looked at me and I know what his look was. His look was like we were getting booed off the field and it was a tie game. But that is what it is. That's LA, and that's SC, and so we understand that. So it was very critical, obviously, to have success in the third quarter there just to get some juice back in the stadium.
Do you talk to your team about the position? I mean, you take it a week at a time, but you're sort of kind of in a situation where you control your own destiny. You can still have the season that some players think is good. I mean, do you talk to your team about that? Where you put yourselves?
Well, I think that this was such a unique week in how all the stuff's set up after 2 losses and still having so much to play for. So we did talk about that a little more than normal. Normally we're only about the game, and our focus was on the game, but we did make sure that everybody understood where we were at as far as what was at stake. And that really it was like an NFL feel of a playoff. That really we were in a 2-game playoff. To continue playing in the conference and win the South. So we got 1 down, and now we got another one next week.
I assume you'd like to get Robert Woods the ball more. So why isn't it happening?
That's a good question. I don't have the answer. We tried the first play of the second half, tried to get him going, because I could feel him. And the ball got tipped. There got a great play on it. Trying to get him the ball in the flat and get him going. So unfortunately, we just haven't been able to.
Did you get the sense that it was affecting his morale at all?
Yeah, he's human. He's one of the best we've ever had here, and but at the same time, you're human. You want the ball. You play receiver, you want the ball, and so it was nothing negative. It was just from our relationship, I could feel him. I just think he was a little bit down.
What was the biggest tactical adjustment on defense? Was it blitzing more, or was it?
Well, I think that our guys really were more aggressive, and not with the defensive calls, but really the front 7. They got after, they attacked. And part of that is last week what that system makes you do. You got to read a lot of stuff because the quarterback runs and everything. But I thought we were much more aggressive. This quarterback pulls the ball and runs sometimes. So it was good to see. It was much needed.
Can you talk about the shuffling on the left side of the offensive line all game?
Yeah, we just had made a decision, to play Andre every third series, and then with the 2 left guards, just to play them every 2 series in a row game, which we had actually. This was the 3rd week in a row we had done that. So just creating competition. We started Jaleel over Soma, and so we just always wanted, no matter how our production has been going, we want to make sure that we're still trying to find ways to improve.
Was Silas available?
He was not. No.
Are you ever surprised by anything Marquise Lee does? Are you surprised anymore?
Yeah, I was really about to the point of thinking there's just some really bad karma going on this week, because about 45 minutes before the game, Marquise comes in my locker room and he's freaking out because his face is all swollen and he'd had an allergic reaction to something. And I'm going, this really can't be happening right now. Arguably the best player in college football in the last couple of weeks with everything we got going on. And so credit to our medical staff, they did a great job to calm him down. He was not himself today, actually. As well as he played, he'll go get that long touchdown pass. That long touchdown pass isn't even contested when he's himself. You could see today that had affected him. And then he had the IV at half, and he felt a little bit heavy. He wasn't himself, and he's still one of the elite players in college football today. And he would have normally wouldn't got that deep ball to put the game away on the stutter post. He would normally wouldn't got that.
Do you think it's important for him and really the program for him to kind of be in that conversation for the Heisman? You've talked about him being probably the top player right now. I mean, do you think that that's something that would be good to have, obviously?
Sure, yeah, it would be great to have. I think it would be well-deserved. But our guys understand individual awards come with team success. And so I've said it before, if we wouldn't have screwed up these couple games, maybe we're sitting here with 1 loss, the conversations of him and Matt with awards would probably be different.
Do you ever worry about using him too much or relying on him too much, taking away maybe from other guys?
No. I think that's your job as a play caller. If you got somebody that people can't stop, you keep getting the ball. I think the question is, if we're sitting here and he touches the ball 3 times in the game, I would imagine that would be the first question that you guys would ask is, what are you doing? How do you not get that guy the ball? So I think it's critical. I've always said I compare offense to basketball by the way that you call plays. If you have a shooter that's hot, the last thing you do is pass.
The turnover's still a real concern.
Yeah, unfortunately, we were able to, unfortunately we turned the ball over like that. Fortunately, we were able to win with that. And critical turnovers, or we probably would have seen the first half be like the second half, and the game wouldn't have been close the way our defense was playing. And we were moving the ball. We were just we were shooting ourselves in the foot. But a great penalty day again. I think 4 penalties for 30 yards. So once again, credit to our players improving in that area.
Coach, one more. The video with the Heisman video coming out this week. Did you view today as a platform of sorts?
No, we're just trying to win. It's been a long 2 weeks, and a long week with the distraction this week, unfortunately. I felt bad about that for all SC people, administration, fans, everything, because it was an unfortunate situation, what happened with the ball deal, and it was just such a story, unfortunately. So the last thing we're worried about is a Heisman platform, Marquise Day, a Heisman. We want to make sure that we won the game.
Thank you.